You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order of the Board of Fire Commissioners, June 27th, 2024. The time right now is 5 p.m. Approval of the minutes for May 23rd, 2024. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, voted on. Reports of committees. I'll go first on personnel. We have one firefighter is on light duty and one firefighter is on long-term injury leave. And the chief will elaborate later on, him and the assistant chief, on the happenings and some other stuff for personnel.
The long-term injury will be coming back on light duty, which is good news after the 1st of July.
Okay, that's next week. Good, perfect. Finance, Commissioner Riccio is maybe hoping to attend, but he might not be able to. I'll do a short on that. The repairs and maintenance account was overdrawn by $30,313 due to increased major vehicle and apparatus repairs and inflation. We've been hearing a report from Commissioner LaCroix about that every month, so I don't think it's not news to anybody.
And this month's no different.
Yeah. The Chief of Police will be able to recover any budget shortfalls by transferring within our own budget. Once you get the water bill, it's not June yet. Once we get
it in mid-July. It comes and that'll kind of be the deciding factor.
Yeah,
that 30,000 though is kind of it's what's encumbered in the account today, but we have several blankets that'll get liquidated at the end of the year, and I have other monies in various accounts that'll actually get reduced, and hopefully we can cover all of this. But I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic at this point. So we're doing the best we can with what we have.
Okay. When we get to EMS, that helps a lot. But no one ever realizes that. Training, Chief, do you want to elaborate on training? I didn't miss the deputy on that, his report. I know he's still doing a lot of the ladder training, or it's almost done.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is they've been doing their regular training calendar, both the volunteer and career staff. I know they've been working with Company 5 to do a full-blown on-the-water island firefighting drill, so that's in the works. The other thing is the AFG grant. We've been doing, a lot of that's been off-duty in addition to the firefighters doing their regular shifts. They've been doing, for instance, the rope class was 7 days. So that's all that grant-funded class. It's covered, all but 10% is covered through the FEMA grant. So, that's been taking a lot of the time as well. And then we've been doing some, just the usual fit testing, OSHA physicals, few stragglers left. But I think we're pretty much got everybody up to date at this point, right?
I think so.
All right, good. Okay, apparatus, Commissioner LaCroix.
Presently, there are 13 repairs that are in progress right now on apparatus. There's pending work orders of 75. Right now, they've completed so far this year 249 work orders on the fleet. Engine 1, our first frontline engine, has had 19 completed work orders on it. Truck 1 has had 45, and Medic 3 has had 26, and I'll drill down a little bit on some of that. But adding to that, Engine 9 is presently out of service and investigating some grinding noises on that piece. Some of the active things that were on Engine 1, there's an active oil leak while the vehicle is running. There's loose bracket and gaskets. There's ongoing, and I'll spare everyone, ongoing light bulbs and that sort of things that in windshield wipers that get replaced very, very frequently. Engine 9 also was submitted to work order for a water tank leak. Truck one has a number of different issues that have been going on with that. The work orders have been submitted for things like electronic siren not working, hose loader not working, these exhaust filter cleaning. And again, with truck one, there's valves dripping, the daily check cross leg lever came apart from the valve system. And lens covers, that sort of the minor items but need to be fixed. And so, you know, I go back to engine one all the time. This is our frontline vehicle for the members of the community that might be watching this. Engine one is our frontline vehicle that needs to be in top running condition at all times for responding, and because it's used so frequently is the reason why we're having to have as many repairs as we have to it.
I think some of the other things contributing, Commissioner, is, you know, the fleet on average is over 18, so we're kind of waited with bated breath for engine one to come in, the new one, which has been on order for almost 2 years already. We're expecting it in 2025.
Yeah, so we had to proactively order that well beyond our ordering time that we typically would over the years, just so that we could get in line to have it completed and delivered to us. So
the ambulance remount is going to be hopefully back in Connecticut by the second week of July, and Eastford will be then installing the power load for the stretcher, as well as they do the upholstery work up in Eastford. And then that hopefully will be here before August, I hope. So then the new one that's been on order for almost 2 years is still anybody's best guess when we're going to see that ambulance.
Chassis, probably?
No, it's just factories are taking what used to take 3 months is taking 3 years. It's mostly qualified, and they lost a lot of skilled workforce during the COVID, and they're just getting the factory back to the point now, but they have a lot of back orders. And I think contributing to all that was, obviously inflation. We've all felt the inflation, but when everybody got ARPA money, right? So the American Rescue Plan Act, we used a portion of that to buy an ambulance. A lot of places bought apparatus and equipment with that money and flooded the market and created a backlog. So not only did it cause inflation, but it also created this backlog, and then coupled with the supply chain issues and the skilled workforce issues, it's put us into kind of a bad situation right now that everybody in our industry is feeling.
Mm-hmm. Chief, I see that Medic 3, it shows here that there's been 26 completed work orders, so that's like double the rest of the Medic units. Is that
well, it is the
pieces?
oldest, and it's
Okay.
one of the workhorses,
Yeah.
right? So it's that's probably accounts for a lot of that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, they get hammered, the ambulances.
I'm just looking to see what the blank is. That's supposed to be a ladder one, 1937. Okay. And did we determine if
We did the maintenance on
We did
that,
the maintenance
yeah.
on it, so we did do it. We didn't balance the tires though, but did we determine if there was an oil filter?
There was not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No filters.
No, I didn't think so, no.
Chief Kozak, once again, thank you for the report. They're very informative, and it's able to give me a concise report to everyone.
Yep, good.
Is Nine's tank a fiberglass?
The
Water
engine,
tank. Engine 9?
the current engine 9?
Yeah, didn't you say the water tank's leaking?
Yes.
It's something's leaking. I don't think it's the tank itself.
Okay.
It's the.
So,
There's a lot of the way the report grabs it, the way that a lot of the guys write it up initially is what you're saying. They're not necessarily mechanics, so they see, hey, it's leaking, it's not normal. I can't see where it's coming from. We have to get in there and investigate it. But yes, I'm pretty sure it's a fiberglass tank. I don't think it's a steel one.
I'm not sure.
what year is engine 9?
2001.
I'm sure it's fiberglass. Yeah.
23 years old.
Or poly or.
Yeah,
That's all I have, Commissioner.
okay. EMS, Commissioner Fox.
Yes, we continue the reason the ambulance is in the condition it's in. again, our revenue is way exceeding our budgeted target. What was the budgeted number, Chief?
$1,825,000.
Okay, and we're at
Almost a $500,000.
$2,336,118. We continue to have, well, we've had 5,247 incidents from July 1 to June 25th. 3,797 transports to area hospitals. I also noticed that I think our transport ratio is going up a little bit.
Just a point. It's it's in a good spot. If you remember, during the COVID,
Oh, wait
it
now.
was 28% of the calls were non-transport,
Yeah,
so
right.
we were, and the revenue reflected that, right?
Right,
'Cause we only
right,
get-
right,
We only
right.
get
You only get paid.
we only get revenue when we
for
transport.
So that should be also something that maybe the public needs to understand. So that's where we are. Extremely busy.
When was this as, Chief?
As
Live-
of
is that live?
yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah. So
What do we expect, you think, if we had a crystal ball?
to the end of the year revenue? Well, my guesstimate at this point is we will see it around 2.5, which will be a record
That's
for
what
us.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
I think about
That's what
that.
I would think.
Even today, it's she updates it typically on Thursdays, so this was previous to that, and there was another $38,000 added to that number. So
Plus they're out 30 days at least too, right?
yeah,
And you gotta figure, we have until the end of this month, and then anything that comes in for those gets
Applied to
that.
this number, right.
Yeah, so,
So,
okay.
so
And
that,
I
and
would-
just again for the public's benefit, that money goes into fund balance as part of what is carried over year to year into the fund balance is not just excess budget monies or monies from projects that haven't been used that get put into the fund balance. That's where the ambulance fees and all that go in, and then a portion of that I think this year they used to offset taxation for certainly we were a big part of the increase this year by getting the 16 people, but the money we bring in helps to offset that, which is a good thing, right?
yes. The other thing I noticed again is that we're back on hospital diversions for long distances in the
Yes.
last week.
Yes.
Yeah, yesterday too, I
St.
think.
Francis.
St. Francis, yeah, transferring patients from here to St. Francis.
Mhm.
A lot of it is psychiatric.
Yes.
Yes,
That's the largest driver of those types of diversions because the space in the hospitals are limited and they share the wealth throughout the area and yeah, it's a problem.
Okay. Buildings Commissioner Ahern.
Tell me about the slide for Indianapolis. Sounds
So,
interesting.
what we're investigating at this point is the possibility of adding a rapid way to get from upstairs to downstairs, because as you know, that building was built with the living areas on the second floor and just a straight, 2 straight stairs to get to the bottom. In
can't be on the
interest
pole.
of safety and time, we think that this could be an opportunity. So we're investigating that with the architect of record, Dave Stein and Silver Petroselli, and Al Lombardi from the engineer's office. It's very preliminary at this time. They're gonna do some schematics and then we'll get a little bit more into the cost. But the way the building's built, it's looking like the best opportunity would be to actually just put an addition on the outside like we were gonna do when the elevator was gonna be there, right? And we could blend it in with the building so it looks like part of the building. Of course, all of that would have to go through some appropriations and process if that's what we're able to do. So we're definitely investigating it, and along with that, obviously any additional logistical items that we would need as we're going to be staffing that building full time with once we move into this new staffing model. So most of it's minor lockers, and we're doing it all within our budget to the best of our ability. Another opportunity is, we're continuing to try to move the project for the station out east, at least, while it's plans several years out in the future, there's a lot of preliminary work that needs to go into that, as you remember from this building. It all starts with a plan and a concept and programming of spaces. So we're working with some of our local vendors to try to get that going, so we can get a little bit more handle on what the cost would be in the future.
Yeah, Chief, do you have that, you got that programming you're working on?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, good, we'll get that over to him,
Yeah.
good.
And the Sunoco station's coming along?
The fueling station is going along very well, yeah.
For file
Contrary to
Yeah.
some of the rumors that were going around, there will be lighting. It'll be low-level lighting as appropriate for the environment and all that, but the lighting plan's been approved and it will have lighting. We won't have to fuel in the dark.
That's comforting.
Solar panels on it, right?
Apparently.
Yeah. We could make that shoot glass, just saying.
That would
I would
look
like
nice.
to, before next year's budget, I would
You
like
hate
to
it.
That would look
talk
nice.
to general government about maybe taking care of some of the issues down at Station 5. The floor really needs to be either epoxied or painted or something. It's it's looking pretty bad down there, and we haven't put a lot into that or done anything really with that station, and I think it deserves a little bit of attention.
Yeah, I think the last thing that was done was windows a while ago,
Yep, they did windows.
probably 15 years ago.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Pension and communications, 30 boxes, post boxes have been delivered from Commissioner Clem's house, and they're currently in the chief's office. Chief?
Yes.
Everything of all the
Yes,
pension,
they
that
are.
stuff she had. It's all in order.
It's here, and Jim Finch and I have discussed it. When Tim Murray and the pension committee will get together, and they'll go through, and he'll probably scan it into the town's system so that it's permanently retained.
Ah, good. Good.
How many boxes was this total?
There was only 3,
Oh, that
but
wasn't
she
bad.
told me she didn't get to the basement yet.
Oh,
so.
okay, all right. Oh, boy.
I'm afraid those were probably her working files.
Yeah. Stuff downstairs. Okay. All right, chief's report?
All right, so again, we continue to be busy. 6,748 calls since up to Wednesday of this week. We're averaging 18.6 a day, and Friday continues to be the busiest day, with 10 a.m. being the busiest hour. I'll allow Brian to elaborate a little bit more, but we hosted the interns from the high school. We had 3 interns this year, which is kind of a record for us, and they all gave us really good positive feedback, and all 3 have expressed some interest in pursuing. Some of them are already pursuing a career in public safety, and the others are considering it or starting to look into what they would have to do beyond what they did here. So that's all great. Obviously, with the budget having been passed, we've been very busy getting ready for the influx of 16 new employees. That includes working with the on the MOA with the union. It's been a good process. They've been on board from the very beginning, and so that there's no surprises. We've been making sure we cover all our bases, dot our I's, cross our T's. The town labor attorney and human resources took a look at it, made a couple of minor adjustments, and we're looking into several issues, such as how the MRF pension will affect them compared to the firefighters. Are they in a different MRF? And whether they were able to get into the firefighters' health plan, which they are able to. So all of that is good. We're just waiting for the union to look over what the town labor attorney sent back before I ask him to give us a clean copy that the union could then vote on, and then we could send it to the town to go through that process. At that point, we move all the money into the buckets where it's supposed to be, and we can actually start to advertise. So I'm hopeful we can do that before August, but it still has to go through this process. So it's the way it is. But a lot of the other things are just, preparing for all the, there's just a lot of logistical things that have to happen. So that's been happening. The promotional exam for captain has, I sent the email out with the reading list today. We'll send the actual announcement out shortly once the unit has an opportunity to take a look at it and agree on that it's the same process or a similar process to we've had in the past that they're comfortable with, and then once we get that back, we'll send it out. We're hiring a company called Mission CIT. They have an excellent reputation. I worked with the career chiefs. Several of our similar sized departments use them. They're reasonable in cost, which is why we haven't necessarily used a testing company in the past. But they are reasonable. They're going to handle the entire process from written test to oral board, and the scores will go to human resources and keep Brian and I out of the process so that there's no issues, and then the candidate list will eventually come before the board so you can make the promotions as you see fit. So that's in the process. We expect between the new engine company and the retirements, there will be anywhere from 4 to 8, 4 to 7 captains.
Will the commissioners see the scores? Their scores?
Eventually,
Okay.
yeah. And then obviously we've been going through this grant-funded training. We just finished everybody finished the rope training. We have 41 members who were certified to the technician level in rope, which is great. The grant is, it's been great for teamwork, cohesiveness. Both Brian and I attended the training just because we want to, be there. We want to see it. We want people to understand that, we support it, and we're not asking them to do anything we wouldn't do either. So it's been great. We just got the second reimbursement from the grant, so we're all up to date as far as the money spent. The money's come back in the door. I got the deposit slip from Irene in finance today, so that's good. We do owe a 10% match, which we'll take from our existing educational incentive and professional development. I've been holding some of that money, and that'll cover the 10% match. So we have that, and then of course another great job by Chief Kozak, who took worked with the deputies for the operational plan this year to the extent they wanted to participate, and we put the festival plan out, and we had another successful event with festival, road race, fireworks, where no major events. So everything went off, nobody got hurt, and that's a great thing. Obviously minor here, minor there, that kind of thing, but nothing major. And then lastly, we did the big brush fire in East Haven the other night. Good job to everybody who helped. We had Engine 1 and Engine 4 over in East Haven. I think I said Engine 2, but Engine 2 did cover the town along with the other volunteer companies. Well, we had a lot of personnel over there for over 5 hours.
Where exactly was it?
Behind Diamond Marine, down Commerce Drive where Calabro Cheese is.
Over by the business park, Commerce Park. Right off
Not
of-
off North Frontage.
Off
No.
Salt and Stall Parkway.
The East Haven side of the airport.
Yeah.
Ah,
All that big marsh.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in it, and there was, I guess, some minor exposed buildings that were burned, as well as, it threatened Diamond Marine. They have those big boat racks, and
Do they know how it started?
probably fireworks, but that's just a wild
but it was
guess.
very windy that night.
It was very windy, and they had reports of fireworks in the area, so.
Okay.
Used to burn once a week.
Yeah, remember that every
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is the middle of the marsh, just let it burn and have less to worry about.
Yeah.
Everybody did a good job, and I must say, my compliments to the East Haven Instant Commander, because I listened to them giving their size up and their orders to not only their own units, but the mutual aid units, and setting up the incident to make sure that everything was properly protected, and they did a good job, and we were proud to be a part of that operation. So good job to them, good job to us. So.
Good.
And I think that covers everything that I have that you haven't already mentioned.
Chief, go ahead.
Yeah, just to piggyback off the chief said, what the chief said, the internship program with the high school was a success. We had 3 interns. They finish off their senior year basically with us, last 6 weeks of school. And we put them through a program where, we're kind of hitting every aspect of the fire service, from the EMS component, the fire marshal, fire prevention component, the administration component, and engine company ops, truck company ops. You kind of name it, and it's the idea is just to give them a snapshot of what we do here and acquaint them with the fire service. And
That's good.
usually we had 2 that really had no experience at all, and halfway through it they were like, "This is great," and wanted to pursue some sort of additional interest in it, training, EMT, that sort of thing. So we received thank you note from the school and positive feedback, and they come out and visit too, and they really enjoy the fact that we are part of that.
Do we have a limit on it, or no?
We
Like how many
don't.
participants?
I think 3 is probably the max.
Yeah.
Because kudos to the folks downstairs. They
Takes
do
some
take
time.
them under their wing,
Yeah.
and it takes time.
Yeah.
Takes time from their day, but I think we provide a positive role model and aspect.
good.
Of what
Yeah.
we do, so.
And how smart to do that right at the end of their senior year.
Yeah.
Then regarding the implementation of the medical aspect of what we're doing with the 16 new hires, we have a massive spreadsheet that's tracking document basically with our goals and all the tasks to reach those goals and so forth, so we don't lose sight of anything. We've been doing focus groups with each group, each division, to kind of anticipate what challenges we're going to have in our culture, basically. As we really shift gears from one model to a new model, we anticipate some things, and we want to get ahead of it. So we're kind of extracting all that information out of the divisions, so that we can address them before they happen and be proactive about it instead of reactive.
Good.
So we're doing that right now. And then, lastly, like the chief mentioned, the festival, road race, fireworks plan. We kind of put all that stuff into the National Instrument Management format, so that we're more acquainted with using that format for larger events such as hurricanes and so forth, interagency things, so that at time of those incidents, we're a little more familiar with all the forms that NIMS requires, so that we can be a little more proficient, and then also work with the FEMA portion of things when we look for reimbursement. We have everything kind of, we're on the same page as that.
Yep.
That's it.
Beautiful. Going back to the fireworks, I want to say our fire marshal, he signed on the air that morning around 7-ish. I don't know what time he went off the air, but
It's
at what time?
probably
It's a long
about
day.
midnight.
Midnight, yeah. I don't know if they realize that, that's a long.
Company too, the same thing. We
Yeah,
have to have an engine
17,
company down
18-hour
there.
day.
Yeah, they were down there first.
Empty rice too, yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, lastly, related to apparatus, car 6 is almost done at the outfitter, the new one,
Oh, okay.
to come back and go in service. I would imagine another week or 2 there. And then the other 2 admin cars will go in.
Could it be
Who's
nice-
doing the outfitting?
Fleet Auto Service, I think it's called, right?
Yeah,
It's West Haven. Yep.
And we're still doing the movie here, the Hallmark Christmas movie this year in Branford. Those 3 cars are gonna be part of it, right?
Oh,
Is
the
it red and white?
Red
Yeah.
and white. Yeah.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Yeah, it's like call them Hallmark. Good job, chief.
Hey, we got to get what we can get when we
Yeah,
can get them, and
I
that's,
know.
that's where that came
Yeah.
from. So. Otherwise, we'd still be waiting.
Yeah. Old business, I don't have anything.
Just the Commissioner Hearn had brought up the
Yeah, we're still trying to track the time exactly.
Yeah, her exact time we need to get from Trista. Commissioner Clem's time as commissioner, because we want to get the plaque ordered. So as soon as we get that information, and I'll follow up, when I'm done here, I'll follow up with an email so that I don't forget.
My mother thinks it was about 35 years. She's pretty good at her things. Because
She was appointed sometime in the 1990s,
I
right?
think it was 1990, that's what she's
Yeah,
saying, so.
it was in the 90s sometime,
Yeah,
and
so
I
it could be around 34, 35 years, yeah. Yep.
It was a long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, we could tell by the boxes,
So yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
that's
She always let you know
Yep.
she had them.
Oh, yeah.
She'd check her records.
Oh, I have those.
New business, this is a bittersweet, to consider and if appropriate, approve a resolution concerning Indian Neck Pine Orchard Volunteer Company 9. Commissioner Hearn, would you like to read it? The resolution?
Sure.
Since you're the eldest and you were the chief out of there, you know, and that's where it all began.
The resolution of the Board of Fire Commissioners. Whereas there has been a significant reduction in the number of available volunteer firefighters, resulting in a critical shortage of personnel. Whereas the Indian Neck Pine Orchard Volunteer Company 9 has only 10 active members and only 5 are qualified as fully certified firefighters. Whereas this is an insufficient number of personnel for any reliable response. Whereas the Branford Fire Department is adding another additional paid personnel to compensate for the increased call volume and decline in volunteer firefighters. Whereas Indian Neck Station 9 is needed to house the additional paid personnel and provide more equitable response time to a greater portion of the town. Whereas the Board of Fire Commissioners wishes to continue the viability of the other remaining volunteer companies. Whereas the Board of Fire Commissioners has control of all apparatus, equipment, and buildings owned and used by the town of Branford for fire purposes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners hereby dissolves the Indian Neck Pine Orchard Volunteer Company 9 as an active volunteer fire company of the town of Branford Fire Department effective October 1st, 2024. Be it further resolved that all assets of the town held by the officers and members of the Indian Neck Pine Orchard Volunteer Company 9 be turned over to the fire chief for proper disposition. Be it further resolved that any funds raised under the auspices of the Branford Fire Department by the members of Indian Neck Pine Orchard Company Volunteer Company 9 be distributed to the remaining volunteer companies. Be it further resolved that all current members of the Indian Neck Pine Orchard Volunteer Company 9 be reassigned to the remaining volunteer company of their choice to bolster their ranks and ensure continued viability. This resolution is adopted by the Board of Fire Commissioners to address the critical shortage of volunteer firefighters and ensure the effective and efficient operation of the Branford Fire Department.
With that being read and being said,
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
we have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion? Just want to say, I want to thank the volunteers down there over the years, and the chief here, retired Chief Ahern, started there. We gave him the nickname J9. Well, I didn't get to,
Yeah.
but, and I used to be a little punk down there too, you know, going between that and a ladder truck, but, you know.
I did have a conversation with the captain. Obviously, we've had conversations throughout this process, the plan. You know, they know it was coming, but it is bittersweet. You know, it's a disappointment to have to put your life into something. But you know, the other thing was that their professionalism and maturity and how they handled it and reacted to the news. They knew it was coming. They totally understand why, and they at least a good majority of the members that have the captains talked to have expressed their desire to do just that. They're going to work amongst the other volunteer companies to try to continue their viability, and that's a great thing. And again, I want to commend them on that and their professionalism, because it's you know, it's not something that we wish on to happen, but it's just part of the progress when we're in the situation we are in, and that's where we are. So
It's a bittersweet marker
Yeah.
of
It is.
changing times.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate sign.
There was
of
just
the
an
times.
article made in Register over the weekend about all that happening, you know. Up that way too, they're having a lot of problems. You'd think they would have a lot more, you know, that part in Connecticut.
yeah, a lot of the volunteer companies. I just read another article today, and I think out in Danbury the same thing. They're consolidating to stay viable, because you know, 1 or 2 people in each company, 3 people, 5 people, it's
not
not
enough.
enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so voted on, approved. Otherwise, we'll ask for adjournment, and the time is 5:34. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Meeting closed.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.